Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. And today I thought we would take a look at noise reduction software. And primarily in what I consider the big three going today, that would be Lightroom Classic and their Denoise module. And if you're new to Lightroom, you will have to download that the first time. And then the second one is Topaz Photo AI. We're going to check out how that handles the denoise. And then the third one I want to look at is DxO's PureRAW 5. Now, if you're new to any of these programs, as of this filming, which is on the 12th of September, just make sure you have the latest upgrades because all these companies are constantly upgrading, and this is all involving AI nowadays. So you guys know how fast the world of AI is moving, especially when it comes to photo processing. But it's pretty cool. We end up being the winners in all of this. Before we get started, if you're liking this content, I'm trying to come out on a weekly basis, either Friday or Saturday, depending on my schedule. And please hit the subscribe button. That will help me get more subscribers and keep me more incentivized to bring you guys this knowledge. And I'm primarily centered around landscape photography, but a lot of these tips will carry over into portraiture and what have you. A little bit about everything photography here. So if you're ready, let's come on over to the computer here. And we're going to take a look at three different images that I have. And I want to preface this by saying, I think that in today's modern world, if you have a camera that's been new within the last 3 to 5 years, chances are you've got a really good sensor and you've got a camera that's going to handle noise really well. I would venture to say in all the years that I've been doing this, and I'm pretty much working on images every day, up to 6400, any of these three programs I'm going to be showing you are going to be fantastic. And where I think the noise really starts to play out against all three of these programs is when we get in the range of, I'm a Sony shooter, I'm on an A7R5. In fact, you're going to see I've used 3 cameras in the 3 images I'm going to show you today on my tests. But we go out to 12,800, and now Nikon and Canon are up to 25,000 ISO. So the manufacturers are just continually getting better and better at how the sensors and the circuitries and the processing, or the processors, excuse me, all work together to really do a good job on noise. And what it means to me is there are certain situations, and I'm going to show you a photo here in a moment, I'll talk about it more, where I don't have time to grab a tripod and get set up. In the best of worlds, I do. But if I'm on the run and I have to pull off the side of the road suddenly to grab a shot, I'm going to dial up that ISO and make sure I get the shot and get the light that I'm seeing. So let's start with one of my standards. I do this type of video about once a year. This is one going back, I believe I captured it in 2018 or 19. We were doing a workshop in Zimbabwe, Pierre Steenberg and Henning de Beer and myself. And I remember we were out at Victoria Falls. We had just completed a sunset shoot, had come back to the lodge, and everybody was going to get in and get dinner. And I happened to look back out on the back patio, and I saw this line of dust here coming through the trees. And I just immediately thought, oh boy, here comes a herd of elephants, because they were obviously coming down to this watering hole. The only illumination I had was a huge incandescent light that was mounted on the side of the lodge. And that's what you're seeing throwing these shadows. Now, this is the photo, and you're seeing, hopefully it's going to show up in the YouTube video, the noise we're going to work on. By the way, all three of these images we're going to look at today. This one was captured on a Sony A1, and I'm going to click through because I'll probably forget to tell you. This is the grab shot that I told you about. This was on a Sony A7R5, and this was, this was on a Sony A1. I'm going to go back to here. This was on a Sony A9. So 3 different cameras, 3 different looks, all dialed up to 12,800. And the other thing I did in these tests is, by default, Lightroom always defaults to Adobe Color. You can go back and check my video. I'll put the link up here. On profiles, I just released that one. And I'm gonna go with linear profiles that we download off of Tony Kuiper's site. And it's a free download. You just go on, you find your camera. He puts the instructions on how to install it. It's very easy. And I'm going to reset this. And the reason I'm going to reset this is how it looked in camera. And why did I do that? Because I wanted to retain detail in this water. If let's go up and take a quick look at the settings. Obviously 12,800 on the ISO. I was using my 100 to 400, and I was out to 248. F8 1/40th. I was on a tripod for this one. And the reason I'm going to reset these is I found in Topaz Photo AI, if I tried to do some processing first, and when I clicked to send it out, it tended, not in all my tests, but in some, it tended to want to make the subjects, in this case the elephants, look very plastic looking. And if you've worked with noise reduction long enough, you know what I'm talking about. So I decided to try it both ways, and I would get the better results if I just sent the file out this way. And let me show you the 3 programs I'm working and how I have to do this. So I did, to get into the DxO PureRAW 5, you would come into plug-in extras, and you would come down and you would hit preview and process with PureRAW 5, and we'll let the interface open up. And this is really just that fast. By default, over here on the left, you're going to see Deep Prime 3, and the latest module they have had out, or have out now, it's Deep Prime XD2S. And I believe this is PureRAW, let me come up here, 5.3 actually. I just downloaded this the other day. I do nothing else. I just let it do, it picks up the lens and the lens distortion, chromatic aberration, vignetting, takes care of all of that. Only thing I've put in is the profile, the linear profile, and then I click process. I won't do that now because I'm not going to let you have to sit here and wait. So that's how you access DxO PureRAW 5. How do we access Photo AI? Well, we're going to right click. We're going to go to Edit In, and you're going to come down and you're going to see Topaz Photo AI. Do I want to keep a copy with Lightroom adjustments? I would say yes. This has been reset to Adobe Color, but in all my examples, again, I put in the linear profile. So let's do that just so you guys are clear on this. This is the Sony A9 that I shot this with. And so now you see it's picked it up, the Sony A9. And now when I go to Edit In, I didn't want to open up Photoshop, my bad. Let's back out of that. And I'm going to actually hit cancel here because we're going to come back in here. But I want to right click and go into Topaz Photo AI this time. Now I'm going to show you edit with a copy. Yes, because I want that profile to be picked up. And we'll just let the interface open up. And I want to explain a little bit about Topaz Photo AI and how I use it when it opens up. And stay patient. Here we go. If you look up here, you can turn on autopilot by default. And it's going to go through and read the image, and it's going to make two recommendations by analyzing that image. I've kind of gotten to the point, it really doesn't matter, where I can turn it off and just click Add Enhancement. I would click Denoise. And as I'm clicking Denoise, you see down here it's saying it's removing the noise. And it's picking up the sharpening also, even though I didn't want it sharpened right there. And then I would just export it out to Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom Classic. So I'm going to hit Don't Save. So that's the setup on all of these. Now, I did do some process. Oh, I've got to show you one more here, right? I got to show you the Lightroom Denoise. On this one, I am going to bring it up so you can see the noise in the shot. And where you find the denoise in Lightroom is under the detail. If you're new to Lightroom for the first time, you're going to have to download the denoise, and it's right there. Oops, I'm not on the original file. I'm glad I made that mistake to show you this. This was the TIFF that, and I'm going to get rid of that so I don't confuse myself, that was exported out of Topaz Photo AI. So now I'm on the original raw file, and I can see that designation up there. Let me open this up. So we have just enough where we can see it and see the noise. Now when we come down to detail, I can indeed put a check mark in the denoise. And I'm just going to leave it alone at standard 50. You can go up and down as you wish. If it looks a little too plasticky at 50, which it does here, then I would probably go down to maybe 45 or 50 and just... and conversely, if it's not getting enough noise out, you can dial it up. But 50 seems to be the baseline. Works really good on most instances. Okay, so instead of going through every photo now, and this was the one that came up when I accidentally hit, we're going to go through, and I'm going to first start out with the DxO Deep Prime. And a little bit of processing, or you wouldn't be able to really see the image, right? So what I really liked about Deep Prime is I looked back into this area. The trees look pretty natural. Up in here, the trees look natural. They're not overly smooth. And the elephants look just about right. There's not a lot of that plastic look. And that's my subject. And you see, I was able to retain detail because of the exposure that I used. Okay, so let's click over here and see how Photo AI did. And I'm not seeing quite as good of removal, especially here in the elephants. Let's jump back over here to Deep Prime. And let's take that up to 100%. And you can see through there, it did a fantastic job. But in Topaz Photo AI, it's rough in there, right? And I think it made these trees look a little too plasticky. And even if you look over into the trees here, they look a little, well, pretty noisy, right? Let's go to the raw file out of Photoshop. And let's bring that up 100%. And even there, it's missing some of the noise. I think I went down, we split the difference between 40 and 50 on the denoise, and we've really kind of lost the background here to plastic looking, or it's too smooth. Let me change over to Deep Prime, DxO's PureRAW 5, and a lot more detail back there in those trees. Okay, let me jump back over here into Lightroom. We're going to take a look at this file now, and this was just captured recently. My wife Beri and I were over in Maui. We were coming down Alpha Haleakala after sunset, and we got to a portion of the road where we were getting this beautiful glow over this peak, and I don't know the name of it, with these clouds up in here. Now this is right out of the camera, so if I was to come in and open this up a little bit more, you kind of see what the file is looking like. You can see I've already added my profile. This is the A7R5 on this one. So let's go in to Photoshop and take a look at these three. So let's start with PureRAW 5 Deep Prime, and did a pretty good job. You know, this is one of the things with noise reduction programs in this day and age, that it's taken the noise out. Now, I want to look back on those clouds. So let's bring this up 100% and bring those clouds over. It's missing a little bit back in there, but not bad. But it's not softening down any of these edges. And I think this is something that the AI is training noise reduction to do. If you're kind of a photographer who's been at this for quite a while, like I have, you sort of know when the original noise reduction programs came out, it would soften everything. And it was a real battle to keep edges and details sharp and dial the noise out. Could it have gotten a little bit more noise in there? Yeah, it could have. I could have played with the sliders, probably a little bit more. Let's come over and take a look now into Topaz Photo AI. And let me bring that up. And really, the difference here, I think I'm going to have to open it up. Yeah, it seems when it goes into Photo AI, things tend to get a little darker. It could be user error. I won't say it's not. So let's bring a little bit of brightness up. I just want to look back in the clouds here, and it seemed to get a little bit better noise reduction, but overall at the expense of, now I got to go back in and fiddle with getting the saturation back in my highlight colors, right? And that's really what this scene was all about. Let's jump over into Camera Raw, and same thing, let's dial that up 100%. And no, it's overall you're seeing noise not only in the clouds, but in the blacks here. And if I was to just add a brightness contrast layer to bring that up to match the others, you're really starting to see the noise, where in Topaz you're not. And I think the clear winner here for me is the Deep Prime PureRAW. And by the way, I wanted to not skip over these so fast. My consensus here would be, if I didn't say it, I apologize, would also be Deep Prime ProRAW 5. All right, let's take a look at one more. And I'm gonna hop over to this. And I do have to say that if I was to go in, I believe this will work. I'm going to show you. If not, I'll just tell you. This was actually, no, it's not going to work. This is actually a really tight crop of a horizontal frame. There were two clusters of butterflies hanging off these branches. This was captured in the Monarch Grove at Pismo Beach, California. And every, I think it starts in October through December, January, we get the monarch butterflies coming in, and they live up in the eucalyptus trees. And so I cropped, and I sent it into Topaz Gigapixel and brought it up. And that's going to be a video for another day, because that's an amazing, amazing program. Okay, let's go back over into Photoshop. I wanted to make that disclosure, and let's take a look at what Deep Prime did. And this is with a little bit of processing, and you can see, even if I bring this up 100%, look at how smooth that background is. It was because of these two butterflies that kind of detached themselves from the cluster that really made this picture work for me. And I'm not at the final end of processing stage with any of these shots, as I said, but I'm getting fairly close to having a finished looking image, but we're more concerned with looking at the noise. Let's take a look at the Topaz Photo AI. Again, this seems to be the situation. It gets a little bit darker, so I'm just going to kind of brighten this up to sort of match things as best I can. And let's bring this up 100%. And it's done a really good job. Let's go back to Deep Prime. You know, it just, if for some reason Deep Prime is taking a little bit of my, I'm going to try to bring up the warmth in that. I'm trying to match these for you guys as best I can. Now we get a little bit more closer match, right? I kind of think both did a really good job here. Once again, here's Deep Prime 5, and here is Topaz Photo AI. I'm going to give that one a toss-up. Let's look at Photoshop, and I'm going to drop a little bit of brightening onto that also, and I think I'll drop a little bit of saturation onto that to bring that up. That looks beautiful. But here's the telling point. Let's bring it up, and boy, that's really close. If I'm nitpicking, I'm saying right back in here, and I don't know if the YouTube video is going to carry this through for you guys, just a smidgen looking of noise versus Topaz Photo AI, where it's very smooth, versus DxO, where it's very smooth. And I don't know, that one's a toss-up. So a lot of this has to do with the type of light you're shooting at and what you're trying to render. I would say really, I think Deep Prime and Topaz Photo AI. So having looked at all of these and gone through this now, through my practice runs and then recording this for you guys, I would have to lean towards Deep Prime or Prime. Oh boy, I'm getting confused here. DxO PureRAW 5 with their Deep Prime noise reduction module. How's that? Very close on their heels would be the Topaz Photo AI. And then I think as Adobe keeps giving us upgrades on Lightroom, every iteration, it seems the denoise gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Hey, in the end, it's all great for us, the photographer, the consumer of all of this. I hope this has really helped you guys out. If you would like to get a copy of these programs, I'll leave my affiliate link down below. On the DxO, you're going to get 15% off. Unfortunately, on Topaz, you won't, but I'd appreciate it if you use my link regardless. And then Adobe, no, I don't have any kind of deal going with Adobe. So, once again, get out, stay creative, you guys. I'm hoping this information I'm bringing you here is adding to your knowledge base. I'm trying to do this every week. So until then, stay creative. It's great for the soul. We'll see you next week.